Hello from World University and School, building on MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages, which is Creative Commons 4 licensed, and also like Wikipedia in 342 languages approximately, for open wiki teaching and wiki learning, planned in all 200 countries, main languages, and in all 7,159 known living languages, as we build in a Grow with Google WUaS program too. So as we wait to see if people will join this open WUaS news and question and answer, on Monday, June 22nd, 2026 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I think it's 1 p.m. Eastern time, and I think it's 10:30 p.m. India time. It may be 1 or 2 in the morning Hong Kong time, with an opportunity for all of us to talk together further about the developments of World University and School in all 200 countries, and for free online WUAS degrees as World University and School accredits from all 200 countries and in their main languages. I'd like to share a little news with you further. So World University and School community networks and friends, universitians all, greetings. And here are some great new developments for World University and School, WUAS. A World University and School WUAS collaboration with Oxford University, and then Oxbridge, and then possibly Harvard, and then Stanford, and more than in seeking to hire graduates, particularly as faculty, as World University and School seeks to hire on both wings of WUS as many as 2.5 million people over the next 50 to 100 years. See agenda item 10 below further. So in this introductory email to World Universitians who received this invitation to this open WUAS weekly business meeting a week before, item A, Harvard Law professor and democracy activist Larry Lessig writes, looking on Twitter, X, looking forward to a virtual conversation with Creative Commons co-founders Hal Abelson and Molly Van Houweling, moderated by the great Glenn Brown, whom I think has a Harvard Law School degree, on June 23rd, that's Tuesday, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's 10 a.m. Pacific time. Check your time converter. Join if you can, Larry Lessig writes. Read more about this fireside chat coming up tomorrow at in the blog post beginning Giant Anteater in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, from June of 2026. Also, in WUAS accrediting and seeking hashtag WUAS students in all 200 countries, hashtag WUAS World Universities, on our hashtag free WUAS degrees side from home, perhaps WUAS can address this by partnering with hashtag MIT admissions, and regarding hashtag MIT Harvard, hashtag HTGAA, How to Grow Almost Anything, synthetic biology course, a science course online, taught by Harvard and MIT professor George Church and other Harvard and MIT faculty, an online science course. So And regarding also the University of California, hashtag UC, and SATs, the standardized aptitude tests that many high schoolers in the United States and in other countries take for applying to colleges and universities in the US at the undergraduate bachelor degree level. So UC, University of California, I think, which has something like 30 at UC Berkeley, 33,000 students, is further reinstating, I think, the SAT. And World University and School is seeking high achieving students and how to grow almost anything. The synthetic biology course, online science course, in which I was a global listener last year, had also committed listeners in addition to registered Harvard and MIT students, undergraduate and graduate, doing science in this course, synthetic biology, from their own homes. This course, Harvard, How to Grow Almost Anything, also taught by David Sun Kong, a director in the MIT Media Lab, had set up laboratories in cities around the world so that committed listeners, for example, could go to physical laboratories to do further experiments and research in this How to Grow Almost Anything online science course. Could World University and School dovetail with How to Grow Almost Anything and MIT admissions to seek committed listeners and the possible students who may have applied to MIT from the United States and many countries who might be interested in a free online WUaS degree from building on MIT open courseware, for example, and newly with computer science, AI, and ML, and as faculty as well. So in WUaS accrediting and seeking WUaS students in all 200 countries, WUaS World University and Schools, could we potentially collaborate with MIT admissions and in seeking to build science online, also in a realistic virtual earth for STEM? That was a set of Twitter posts, Twitter X posts, and see also the hashtags. For example, hashtag free WUAS degrees, hashtag WS World Universities, both in Twitter X and on LinkedIn. And see also agenda item 1 below in today's WUAS weekly business meeting. Item A1. And with the above Creative Commons law licensing history regarding the free World University and School developing on CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages for free WS degrees from home in both the USA and all 200 countries, how might the WS Corporation be able to do an IPO, initial public offering, our second wing, having attended an online Stanford Law Rock Center's talk with Security and Exchange Commission SEC Chairman Paul S. Atkins, and see the Saturday, May 30th blog posts. Second part here in the blog post that begins Chinese Pangolin, Air L, in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from May of 2026. So our 501c3 World University and School Wing, building on CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages, seeks to grow. And our second wing seeks to develop an IPO, the WS Corporation, our second wing, an initial public offering. How will these work together? And regarding World University and School building on CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages. And therefore making our degrees and courses free because CC4 licensing stipulates 1, anyone can share MIT OpenCourseWare freely. 2, anyone can adapt it with machine learning, but 3, non-commercially. So free degrees on our first 501c3 wing, and our WS Corporation wing seeks to do an initial public offering with potentially WUaS educational services stores in all 200 countries, physical, digital, in a realistic virtual earth for retail, possibly collaborating with Walmart with a store within a store model, and the WUaS academic press planned in all 7,159 living languages with machine translation and human translation. Item B, and again, regarding the WUaS Corporation for-profit wing in the state of California, our second wing, how will WUaS be able to develop with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency? And you can get your Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency free money daily here, mindpi.com/SGKMAC, using that as an invitation code, taking less than 5 seconds to push 2 buttons and get a few Pi coins every 24 hours. So how will the WS Corporation, for-profit wing in the state of California, be our second wing, be able to develop with Pi cryptocurrency and as a for-profit general stock company in the state of California, and even possibly with time to list the WS Corporation on a stock exchange, such as the NASDAQ or the Silicon Valley Long-Term Stock Exchange, or even multi-list the WS Corporation. And regarding the academic press at WUaS in 7,159 living languages and with machine learning and human translation, and the WS educational services stores, both planned in all 200 countries. Item B1, and how will the above WUS Corporation interoperate effectively with our first wing, with its US federal and state of California tax-exempt World University and School legal entities? And its candid profile, formerly GuideStar, as well, regarding our 501c3 status. Item B2, and how might the #GrowWithGoogle WUaS program for World University and School at WUaS potentially help with coding these 2 WUaS wings, especially initially? Item C, World University and School's open WUaS weekly business meeting, news, and Q&A meet on Mondays. Next on Monday, June 15th, 2026. Sorry, June 22nd, that's today. At 9 a.m. Mexico time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, US and Canada, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, I think. 10:30 p.m. India time, I think it's 1 a.m. Tuesday the next day, Hong Kong time. And check time zones in each of all 24 time zones to see when you might join this open WUS news and question and answer. And let me just check to see if anyone's seeking to join this presently. Not seeing anyone. So further, here is the agenda for today's open WUaS weekly business meeting, which I shared with you last week. And in order to season, and it begins with Indian Peaks Wilderness, Colorado, in both blogs, World University and School.blogspot.com, from June of 2026, Indian Peaks Wilderness, Colorado, and in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. And with the agenda for today's WUS News and Question and Answer WS Weekly Business Meeting. Item D, World University and School is growing daily, and Weekly Business Meeting by Weekly Business Meeting, which is business meeting is a label in both blogs. And before these weekly business meetings, it was growing with monthly business meeting by monthly business meeting, loosely conducted in the manner of unprogrammed friends, NTFs, Quakers, and blog post by blog post too, and waiting, I think, for accreditation opportunities to further develop, and in WUAS seeking to deploy with the full US federal toolkit as well. Item E, and WUS is waiting for money from grants.gov initially, and how to grow a flourishing, engaged, and engaging research community online. MIT and Harvard's How to Grow Almost Anything synthetic biology course online as a model, blog label HTGAA in both blogs. And how best to grow an engaged and engaging WUAS wiki teaching and wiki learning community. And with wiki teachers and wiki learners teaching and learning in any of these subjects. And you can wiki teach and wiki learn right now from the subjects page at worlduniversityandschool.org in our WUS Mirrorhazen Media Wiki. Or begin new ones, first in English, but then in all 200 countries' main languages, and then for speakers of all 7,159 living languages. In all these languages. And again, with wiki subjects, one can create and wiki teach at and wiki learn from, perhaps by creating the wiki subject. For example, about what one loves to do, teach, or learn about. And both online with a 2D, 3D computer screen, and in our homes in a developing realistic virtual earth in digital glasses and similar hardware, and especially in WUAS multimedia rooms in our homes, and which we create or eventually are able to purchase WUAS multimedia rooms for our own homes, for our own bathrooms also, for soaking in a realistic virtual Harbin hot springs, but also potentially adaptable in any room in our homes. And a WUAS hospital multimedia room, and interoperating with the WUAS Academic Medical Center. For example, out of 670 Ridgecrest Canyon 94516, potentially too, and potentially out of your home too, a WUAS hospital multimedia room. And see, for example, the YouTube video, How to View Google Street View in a Smart Meeting Room. All the best abolitionally, a best Steam Creative Commons licensed open courseware wiki at World Univ and SCH. Hashtag WUS abolition movement continues to grow to protect people. And about this, see the 2 blog posts beginning Eagle Akita in both blogs. And in WUS seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet to facilitate wiki free universal education and potentially to end poverty worldwide. Yogically, 8 limbs of yoga, friendly ETF, NTQ, Quaker, and Unitarian Universalist Church greetings. Kind regards, Scott G.K. McLeod. I'm the founder, the president, the CEO, professor, and presiding and recording clerk loosely in the manner of unprogrammed NTF Friends Quakers, with the recording which will be posted at youtube.com/Scott McLeod World University /videos. So to the first wing, the World University and School wing, the nonprofit, first of 2 WUAS wings, building on CC licensed best Steam open courseware, and which is also wiki. Its current beginning webpage is worlduniversityandschool.org, and see both of the exempt legal entities' tax IDs at the bottom of this. So the WS video minutes for the previous week, beginning Great Himalaya National Park from June 8th, are posted as a video recording. Check it out. Agenda item 1. So Larry Lessig is announcing a virtual conversation with Creative Commons co-founders, moderated by the great Glenn Brown, on Tuesday, the 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Time. I think it's 10:30 p.m. India time. I think it may be 1 in the morning, Hong Kong time. And check, sign up, register, join if you can, and potentially to possibly get the video recording if this online panel discussion is late at night. Created a set of Twitter X posts about this regarding this upcoming Creative Commons talk. Molly, Hal, Glenn at World University, at World Univ and SCH, building on CC licensed hashtag MIT OCW in 7 languages for hashtag free WUS degrees from home in all 200 countries in main languages, is looking forward to this hashtag Creative Commons talk. CC is a key piece. So Creative Commons is a key piece of nonprofit hashtag WUS UNIVS, free degrees, and regarding the second for-profit wing at WUS Press. Looking forward to seeing how Creative Commons licensing is developing with this fireside chat. And read more about this in the blog post beginning Giant Anteater in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. In WUS accrediting and seeking hashtag WUS students in all 200 countries, hashtag WUS World Universities, on our hashtag free WUS degrees side from home, perhaps WUS can address this by partnering with MIT admissions. And regarding hashtag MIT Harvard, hashtag HTGAA, how to grow almost anything, synthetic biology, online science course, and regarding hashtag UC SATs, University of California SATs. So there's an article or a Gemini question from the University of California about the University of California faculty urge reinstating standardized admission tests, June 1. Agenda item 2, how best at George Church, the Harvard and MIT professor, and Rajini Rao, a molecular biologist at Johns Hopkins University, could at World Univ and SCH develop a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal, hashtag G Street View, with hashtag G Time Slider, to hashtag scientifically prove hashtag reversing aging virtually across 10 hashtag model species, and starting, for example, with tiny organisms like hashtag C. elegans WUAS. This is something World University and School seeks to do also, potentially in a realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal in G Street View, Google Street View with G Time Slider at the cell and molecular and atom levels, to potentially scientifically prove and hashtag reversing aging virtually across 10 model species. Because aging reversal isn't scientifically proved yet. And it might be possible to prove this with a realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal, with a realistic virtual Earth for extreme longevity. And I asked Gemini in these regards and created a set of Twitter X posts. Gemini, how best to hashtag scientifically prove hashtag reversing aging virtually in hashtag C elegans WUAS at GeoChurch with hashtag epigenetic reprogramming and hashtag and at Madam Scientist Rajini Rao research and in at World Univ and SCH developing a hashtag realistic virtual earth for aging reversal, hashtag G Street View with hashtag G Time Slider and a hashtag WUAS RVE for realistic virtual earth. And I'll read some of the Gemini response, but read more about this in the blog post, which is also a restorative yoga class, beginning Lotus, Nulumbo, Nucifera stems. So Gemini says, one moment. To scientifically model and prove aging reversal virtually, starting with a powerful model organism like Canor habitatus elegans, C. elegans, offers an elegant, highly tractable biological foundation. By integrating the genetic and synthetic biology approaches of Dr. George Church and the cellular and physiological modeling paradigms represented by ion transport and cellular homeostasis researchers like Dr. Rajini Rao, World University and School can build a predictive, multi-layered architecture within a realistic virtual earth, RVE. One, the biological framework, reprogramming C. elegans. C. elegans is an ideal pioneer organism for virtual aging reversal because its cell lineage is entirely mapped, 759 somatic cells of the adult hermaphrodite. And it has a short lifespan of about 2 weeks. Epigenetic reprogramming, the Church paradigm. In mammalian systems, George Church's work leverages partial epigenetic reprogramming via transcription factors like OSKM or variations thereof to reset the cellular organ epigenome to a youthful state without erasing cell identity. The virtual challenge, C. elegans does not express classic Yamanaka factors in the same manner as mammals, and its adult somatic cells are post-mitotic. The solution, to prove aging reversal virtually, the model must simulate multiplexed gene editing and transcriptomic reprogramming. The software needs to model the upregulation of endogenous longevity pathways, such as DAF, 16, FOXO, or HSF-1, and the result, resetting of age-associated histone modifications, e.g. H3K4ME3 methylation marks, to restore youthful gene expression patterns across its mapped somatic cells. Homeostasis and ion transport, the Rao paradigm. True biological youth requires functional cellular homeostasis. Dr. Rajini Rao's extensive research into intracellular ion transporters, such as SPCA and NHE, calcium hydrogen exchangers, highlights how crucial pH balance, calcium signaling, and endosomal trafficking are to cellular health. The virtual challenge. As cells age, organelle membranes degrade, ion gradients fail, and proteostasis collapses. The solution, the C. elegans simulation, must couple genetic reprogramming with physiological metrics. When transcription factors reset the cell's expression, the virtual model should measure success by the restoration of youthful lysosomal pH, proper calcium homeostasis in muscle cells, restoring pharyngeal pumping and locomotion, and the clearing of protein aggregates. Secondly, technical architecture for the realistic virtual Earth, RVE. To visualize and experiment with this data globally, WUaS can map these biological systems directly onto a geospatial and temporal framework, utilizing an interactive virtual globe environment with a diagram of how this would work in Google Street View interface. The multi-scale views, Google Street View, macro-micro integration, Google Time Slider, temporal simulation, with forward toggling and backward toggling, the age reversal proof. 3, step-by-step validation inside WUaS to ensure the model continues scientific proof rather than just an animation. The platform should implement a 3-tiered computational verification engine, in silico high throughput screen, predictive phenotyping, open access crowdsourcing, and predictive phenotyping includes ensure that changes at the G molecule level accurately compute upward to change the physical behavior, pharyngeal pumping rate, sinusoidal wave locomotion of the virtual worm visible on the macro interface. An in silico high throughput screen includes run thousands of simultaneous virtual permutations of transcription factor combinations and ion channel modulations within the C. elegans matrix to find optimal synergy. Open source crowdsourcing, open access crowdsourcing includes by hosting the framework, this framework across thousands of languages on the World University and School platform. Global researchers can cross-verify the simulation data against real-world wet lab transcriptomic data sets, iteratively refining the algorithm until the virtual age reversal perfectly mirrors biological reality. So that's an extraordinary response from Gemini AI. And World University and School would certainly like to hire researchers for this, but how also to develop the realistic virtual Earth farther, further, and soon in all of these regards. So moving on to the next agenda item 3, World University and School collaboration with the US federal government, and for a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for history, a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for geology, a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for archaeology, a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for paleontology, a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for museums, and a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for wetlands, and a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for oceans, and for and a realistic virtual Earth for evolutionary biology, and so many other STEM and history and science focuses. Exploring this further and see the blog post, John Day Fossil Beds National Monument, in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. Agenda item 4. How best in a realistic virtual Earth for stem cells, a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for genetics, and a hashtag for aging reversal, WUaS, to code for computer science entropy, but in a computer science paradigm, and interoperating with our hashtag avatar agent EHR, electronic health records, from hashtag GPegman in G Street View with hashtag GTimeslider, and with the hashtag Google Quantum Computer at the University of California, Santa Barbara. So aging partially involves entropy, a kind of decay over time. And how can one code for this with computer science in a realistic virtual Earth and with avatar agent electronic health records, and potentially taking advantage or leveraging also quantum computing and the Google quantum computer with World University in School in a Grow with Google WUaS program? And read more about this in the blog post beginning Champak. It's a flower from India. 2, in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. Agenda item 5, property deed for 670 Ridgecrest Road, Canyon, California, 94516 in Contra Costa County questions. Continuing to seek, thanks to Ed Smythe, MD's precipitation, beginning of March of 2023, to move with the WUaS Academic Medical Center into 670 Ridgecrest Road, Canyon, California, 94516, and newly, relatively recently, in communication with Contra Costa County Clerk Recorder Kristen Connolly, as well as in ongoing communication with U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren and former Harvard Law professor from Massachusetts, and Alex Padilla, U.S. Senator from California, in these regards. So I share an email I sent recently on June 4th to Kristen Connolly and Alex Padilla and Oakland Police Department Officer B. Pyle, and Stanford Law Professor Hank Greeley, and attorney in Oakland, Heather Jane Mackay, who knows some of this history going back about a decade, and whom I know from Scottish country dancing and playing the Scottish small pipes and bass lines on keyboard in open band at St. Clement's Episcopal Church in South Berkeley over a decade or so, and John Furner, Walmart CEO, with whom I've communicated via LinkedIn posts and Twitter X posts. And please forward this to John Furner regarding a WUaS Walmart collaboration and Walmart security too, potentially. And Peter Norvig, Google AI director, and Conrad Alt, attorney, and Ed Smythe, MD, affiliated with Kaiser Permanente NorCal, and Grant Fine, attorney, and U.S. Senator and former Harvard Law professor, Elizabeth Warren, and a number of other people. Greetings. Having just paid another homeowner's insurance premium with Liberty Mutual Geico, a homeowner's insurance divider payment for 670 Ridgecrest Road, Canyon, 94516, which I've been doing since in asylum on the eastern seaboard of the US since around December 2024. I'm wondering when I and the WUaS Academic Medical Center will be moving forward into 670 Ridgecrest Road, Canyon, 94516, with the property deed for me to sign. It wasn't in the US Post Office on June 14th, for example, when I checked. And in my and WUaS Canyon, California's United States Postal Service post office box. Further, read this letter in its entirety in the blog post, beginning Indian Peaks. And abolitionally, I sign off on this letter, abolitionally staying alive Thanks, yogically friendly NTF Quaker greetings. So agenda item 6, and regarding further model organisms and possibly the X Prize, which could be for aging reversal, looks like a great molecular and cellular track record for Rajini Rao with data sets and model organisms with which to pursue the X Prize at Madam Scientist Rajini Rao and hashtag Siddhartha Mazumdar HHS. How might at World Univ and SCH collaborate and with a hashtag realistic virtual Earth for genetics and hashtag for aging reversal? Sid, Pin, Mazumdar, both Rajini Rao and Sid Mazumdar are in Baltimore, Maryland. Can we ask Marty Mazumdar, Maitreyi Mazumdar, MD, in the Harvard Medical School, your sister, to ask George Church in the Harvard Medical School to help WUaS work on aging reversal with Rajini Rao's genetic track record and data at Johns Hopkins, and to prove aging reversal with the smallest organisms Rajini has worked with, and in a realistic virtual Earth for genetics, a realistic virtual Earth for aging reversal, and with Peter Norvig's or similar guidance too. And read more about this in the blog post beginning Giant Anteater. So item 6A. I asked Gemini AI about this, and it gave further a helpful response, a very helpful response. And read more about this in the blog post, Comb Crested Jacana Chedpara, in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. Agenda item 7. And further, regarding aging reversal and yoga, and Gemini AI regarding yoga, and the new Fitbit, or a possible or potential Fitbit Air headband. As Gemini AI asked me here in this blog post, Woodstock Mycteria americana, in my blog from June of 2026, wearing hashtag Fitbit headband, how do you envision the user interface of this virtual Earth, modeling the transition between a single cell's genetic expression and a full body yoga posture? Hashtag WUS yoga. And read the Gemini response in these regards. And in the blog post beginning, Pongo orangutans. So further in these regards, Gemini AI, regarding yoga asana and a realistic virtual Earth for yoga asana, a realistic virtual Earth for cells, and a realistic virtual Earth for genes, what are some possible ways to address how do you envision the user interface of this virtual Earth modeling the transition between a single cell's genetic expression and a full body yoga pose? And for example, as I, doing yoga meditation in Ardha Padmasana, half lotus, release my inner sinuses in my cheeks, my inner eyes, and similar, and experience the cells in my face releasing and changing, possibly epigenetically or in other ways. So this is what Gemini AI says regarding wearable genetics and virtual Earth integration. To evolve a smart band like a Google Fitbit, into a tool for real-time genetic and cellular tracking, the hardware must transition from macro physiological tracking to micro fluidic biochemical sensing. This data can be then seamlessly mapped into a multi-layered realistic virtual Earth. 1. Advanced smart band design for genetic tracking. To measure cell expression, such as epigenetic shifts or mRNA transcription, during a yoga asana, the device requires a bridge between skin contact and molecular biology. Microneedle array biosensors. Mechanism: replace the optical heart rate sensor with a biocompatible, minimally invasive microneedle patch that samples interstitial fluid, ISF, continuously without pain. Target biomarkers. The array targets circulating cell-free RNA, cfRNA, exosome cargo, and specific metabolic products like lactate or cortisol changes that correlate with cellular stress and relaxation responses. Genetically programmable biointerfaces. Mechanism: integrate synthetic biology into the sensor matrix using cell-free protein synthesis systems or CRISPR-based biosensors, e.g. Sherlock or detector adaptations embedded on a flexible, replaceable cartridge. Yoga asana detection. When an asana downregulates inflammatory pathways like NF-XB, the chemical shifts in the ISF trigger a conformational change in the biosensor. This alerts the electrical impedance of a liquid metal antenna, wirelessly sending molecular data to your device. 2. Integrating data into a realistic virtual Earth, RVE. An iterating RVE can serve as the spatial and structural framework to visualize this data across multiple biological scales. The integration works through a hierarchical pipeline. G cell and G molecule views cells and genetics. How to add it? The molecular data transmitted from the smart band dictates the state of localized 3D cellular meshes within the RVE. Visualization. If the band detects an upregulation of sirtuins, SIRT1, or antioxidant enzymes during deep pranayama or asana, the RVE zooms from a macroscopic globe down to a G cell view. Here, it dynamically renders the accelerated prescription of those specific genome foci on a virtual 3D chromosome model, G molecule view, showing real-time mRNA synthesis. Macro to micro mapping, yoga asana. How to add it? Combine the band's accelerometer gyroscope data with computer vision or spatial computing to map the exact geometry of the yoga posture. Visualization. The RVE links the mechanical alignment of the asana, e.g. a twist compressing specific organs, directly to the corresponding vascular and cellular shifts in that anatomical region, illustrating how physical posture drives cellular fluid dynamics. Longevity and aging reversal engines. How to add it? Feed the continuous molecular stream into predictive machine learning algorithms trained or on epigenetic clocks and George Church's radical longevity datasets. Visualization for aging reversal. The realistic virtual Earth computes your rate of biological aging in real time. It visualizes this by altering a biological twin matrix showing a reduction in cellular senescence markers, telomere stabilization, or DNA repair efficiency as a direct consequence of long-term practice. Visualization for extreme longevity. At the macro level, the RVE maps, realistic virtual Earth maps your personal genetic trajectory against global longevity baselines, treating your body as an open source iterating node in a global network society dedicated to health optimization. Gemini AI continues with a question. Would you like to explore the specific synthetic biology mechanisms needed to make the wearable cartridge or Fitbit headband stable for daily use? And I'll let you read that further. But returning to the agenda for World University and School News and Question and Answer, read more about this further in Pongo Orangutans blog post in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. And so I asked further, how could the Google Fitbit bracelet be developed further to detect or measure cell expression genetically when doing age reversal? And read more about this in the Gemini AI response as well, all in the Pongo Orangutans blog post too, from June of 2026 in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. Agenda item 8, the start of a comprehensive database for yoga asana, which could be used in a hashtag realistic virtual earth for genetics, hashtag for aging reversal, hashtag for yoga. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Champak in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. How could Wikidata and Wikipedia and World University and School with a backend structured knowledge database of Wikidata grow yoga asana for a realistic virtual earth for yoga asana, for a realistic virtual earth for aging reversal and extreme longevity, and their realistic virtual earth engines? Agenda item 9. So a recent interesting Google Scholars article on large language models and why audio large language models fail at reasoning, where others have demonstrated remarkable success, for example, with text and vision domains through extended chain of thought deliberation. Read the article in ResearchGate. It's titled Step-Audio-R1, Why Audio LLMs Fail at Reasoning, The Trap of Textual Surrogates. And its author, first author is A.Y. Zhang, second author D. Liu, and third author H. Chiang. Created 2 Twitter X posts about this. Agenda item 10. World University and School WUaS collaboration with Oxford University and Oxbridge, and even possibly Harvard and then Stanford. A World University and School, and more than in seeking to hire graduates, particularly as faculty, as World University and School seeks to hire on both wings of WUaS as many as 2.5 million people over the next 50 to 100 years. What would be the best way for World University and School to collaborate with Oxford? Go there this summer and potentially give a digital ethnography talk in the Oxford Anthropology Department and regarding the creation of a realistic virtual Harbin hot springs for ethnographic field research and EthnoWiki virtual world graphene. And with AI Studio and other great Google developments with information technologies, AI and ML, am exploring the potential of giving a digital ethnography talk at Oxford Anthropology, and potentially also to talk about World University and School collaborating with Oxford. Could World University and School collaborate not only with Oxford Anthropology and in hiring graduates on both of our wings, but also with Oxford Medical School and all the academic departments at Oxford, as well as the Oxford University Press, for example. Could I possibly also publish my upcoming book, Society, Information Technology, and the Global University with the Oxford University Press instead of with the academic press at WUaS as part of this collaboration? And could Oxford help grow the Oxford University Press, help grow the World University and School academic press in some of these regards? And read more about this in the blog post beginning Giant Anteater from June of 2026 in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. So in the remaining few minutes, just checking to see if people might be joining us now. Moving to the second wing, the WUaS Corporation wing, the second of two WUaS wings, the for-profit general stock company legal entity wing in the state of California, for an academic press in 7,159 languages with machine and human translation, and regarding the WUaS educational services stores. And see the beginnings of both of these at worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, and see the tax ID number at the bottom for this WUaS Corporation legal entity for-profit general stock company in the state of California. Agenda item A, John D. Fossilbed's blog post beginning National Monument, Oregon. Still not seeing hashtag flying cars or hashtag humanoid robots whatsoever in all 200 hashtag WUaS countries. How can at World Uni and SCH's hashtag WUaS students help with a hashtag realistic virtual earth for humanoid robots, hashtag realistic virtual earth for flying cars, hashtag realistic virtual earth for batteries? How can WS students and others code these realistic virtual earths? And the Wiki School at World University and School for Robotics, currently only in English, planned in all 200 countries, beginning wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/robotics. So in what ways could World University and School start to produce all these things on our WS Corporation wing with the help of a realistic virtual earth? And in what ways could humanoid robots help with archaeology and archaeological digs with time that World University and School produces, and possibly also in collaboration with Toyota Robotics, and potentially also with World University and School or the WS seeking to deploy with the full US federal toolkit. So could the US federal government get into the production or generation in collaboration with World University and School of humanoid robots, of possibly even flying cars well in the future, and batteries, for example? Fascinating potentials here. Read more about this in the blog post John Day Fossilbed's National Monument in Eastern Oregon or Central Eastern Oregon in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. Agenda item B, the last agenda item. Walmart WUaS security collaboration to and in all 200 countries in World University and Schools WUaS educational services stores. How would this work? With the recent gunshot to my car on May 18th up on Skyline Drive in Oakland, which I reported to the Oakland Police Department headquarters, and I'm not sure if they found the shooter yet. I'm wondering how Walmart and WUS could collaborate on security also regarding, for example, the 5 death threats potentially from Tesla and Twitter X and possibly space, the Chabot Space and Science Center in cahoots with SpaceX and even a US space agency. How could Walmart security, which seems to be professional and well and organized with the law, work with possibly federal and state and the state of California law enforcement to provide security for example, World University and School, and to knock back international organized crime and regarding the wrongful buying and selling of people in the illegal sex, drugs, violence, military targeting, et cetera, industries internationally. And as World University and School grows an abolition movement further, and as WUS also seeks to code for all 7.9 billion people, and potentially to help people live longer, even with extreme longevity and aging reversal genetic drugs with avatar agent electronic health records. I've reached out to Walmart's CEO, John Furner, in some of these regards, and also to the Oakland Police Department and US Senator and former Harvard Law professor Elizabeth Warren, and State of California US Senator Alex Padilla, and Kristen Connolly, who is the clerk recorder for Contra Costa County, and many others, and am interested in exploring this further as World University and School and the WUAS Corporation, potentially with the WS Corporation in a store within a store model with Walmart grows further. So that's the news and question and answer for today, Monday, June 22nd, using the blog post Indian Peaks Wilderness, Colorado, in both blogs, worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com, as well as scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. I'll post the video recording of this to the blog post beginning from today, Monday, June 22nd, 2028, beginning Phong Phui, Blue Mountain National Park, India. And please check it out using last week's Monday, June 15th, WS agenda and news. And looking forward to further conversation next week, June 29th, 2026, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, with the blog post beginning Phong Phui, PHAWNGPUI, Blue Mountain National Park, India, having the agenda for June 29th meeting for your consideration and for seasoning it for a week. So I'll post also the recording to the 2 main Twitter X feeds for World University and School, twitter.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH, or x.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH, and twitter.com/WUAS Press, as well as to the 3 main LinkedIn feeds for World University and School and the WS Corporation. And if you have questions or know of prospective students who might be interested in World University and School and matriculating, possibly even as soon as September 1st, 2026, which is a Tuesday, I think. And if you're in India, especially, for example, please let me know at president@worlduniversityandschool.org. And until next week, bye for now. worlduniversityandschool.org is our beginning web page, and we have 5 new web pages that have recently been sent to World University and School as potential next steps for World University and School's web pages with AI, which we'll explore further next week on Monday, June 29th. Bye for now.